Alright, this is Mr. Chu's living room. It says that one side is 10 feet. How much carpet does Mr. Chu need to cover his floor? So, to cover the entire floor, we're talking about finding the area of a shape, because that would be the inside of this square. The perimeter would only follow the outside, so we don't want to just put carpet on the outside of our floor. We want to cover the middle. So that we need to find area. When we find area, we multiply the two sides. So if this is a square and one side is 10, that means the other sides are also 10. So 10 times 10 is 100. And then anytime you do area, you do square feet. All right, number 2 is a pattern. We are trying to find the missing number. It started with 40, and then it was 20, so it got smaller. Then 10, it got smaller. If you notice, what's happening every time is getting smaller by half. So half of 10 would be 5. Which set of numbers is a factor pair of 54? So I would factor out all of the pairs for 54 and then find which of these numbers is in it. So you have 154, 2 and 22, 3 and we're going to divide it by 54 to find the other partner for 3. That'll go 1 time. That'll go 8 times. So 3 and 18. And if I look up here at my answer choices, I see 3 and 18, which go together. 3 and 27 don't go together, so it can't be that one. 6 is a factor, 6 and 9, but it has it with the wrong one up there. So that only leaves 3 and 18. Alright, Karen has 47 crayons. She can fit 8 crayons into each of her crayon boxes. How many crayon boxes can Karen completely fill? If we use our cube strategy, we circle our numbers, underline the question, box in any clue words, and my clue word here would be each. That lets me know I'm going to divide. So I don't, let's see, 8 will go into 4 0 times, so then I'm going to look at 47. 8 will go into 47 5 times, which will be 40. I'm going to subtract. 8 will go into 7 no times, so that leaves me a remainder of 7. So the question asks how many she can completely fill. So she can only completely fill 5 crayon boxes, because if she tried to fill a 6th, it would be missing 1 crayon, because we only have a remainder of 7. Number 5, Jackie wanted to find the missing number in the table. What rule did Jackie use to complete the table? So if we look at the input-output table here, we're starting with 2, then we get 12. So I'd have to multiply 2 by 6 to get 12. So that might be my rule. Let me keep checking it. 4 times 6 is 24. 8 times 6 is 48. So that must be my rule. Multiply by 6. So that would be choice D. Multiply the number in the input column by 6. Number 6. The area of a rectangular swimming pool is 42 square feet. Its width is 6 feet. What is its length? Well, to find area, we multiply. So if I'm trying to find the missing side, that means I'm going to do the opposite and divide. 42 divided by 6 is 7, so 7 feet. Number 7. A college recorded attendance for the first 4 games of a basketball season and placed the data in a table. Which 2 games' attendances would be the same if each number was rounded to the nearest thousand? So that means I have to round all 4 of these numbers to the nearest thousands place. I'm going to underline or highlight all of my thousands so that I know where I'm rounding to. And then I'm going to look at their next door neighbors. If you remember the rule for rounding, if the number is 4 or less, we're going to round down. If it's 5 or greater than 5, we're going to round up. So I need to look at my next door neighbor here. In 21,689, this 6 is going to make it round up to 22,000. In the next number, the 8 is going to make it round up to 23,000. In the next number, the 4 makes it stay the same. And in the last number, the 5 makes it round up. So the two numbers that ended up rounding to the same would be game 3 and game 4. Alright, question 8. Which statement best explains how a river with a length of 14,269 miles was estimated to be about 14,300 miles? So we need to see where we would have to round to in order to get that. So obviously, if we look at it, they changed the numbers after the hundredth place to a 0, so that lets me know that we had to round to the nearest hundred. And just to be sure, if I looked over here, this 6 would make the 2 round up to 14,300. So my rule is that it rounded to the nearest hundreds place. Number 9. If Miss Moore donates $300 each month to a homeless shelter, how much money will she have given in 7 months? So if I use my cube strategy and I circle my numbers and then I underline my question, I box in any clue words. Here is our clue word, each. That lets me know I'm going to divide it into equal groups. 300 divided by 7. 7 will go into 3 no times, so I look at the 30. 7 will go into 30 3 times, which will be 28. That leaves 2, and I bring down my 0. 7 will go into 22 times, that's 14. And that leaves me a remainder of 6. Remember, you can use your Addams Family song to remember the steps, which are divide, multiply, subtract, bring it down, repeat. Dad says divide, Mom says multiply, sister says subtract, brother says bring down, Rover says repeat. So I would write those steps down and use those every time. Number 10, Kathy took 36 photographs on a vacation. She wants to put them into a photo album. In her photo album, 8 photographs completely fill up a page. How many pages will Kathy completely fill with photographs, and how many photographs will she have left over to put on the last page? If I use my cube strategy, I'm going to circle my numbers. I'm going to underline my question, and I'm going to box in any clue words. And my clue words here, or my question here, is asking for 2 things. First, it asks how many will completely fill a page, and then it asks me how many will be left over. So the words left over are referring to our remainder, and completely fill would be our quotient. So we're going to be dividing 36 divided by 8. 8 will go into 36 4 times, which is 32. And when I subtract, that leaves 4. So I have a remainder of 4. So I have 4 pages that are completely filled. That's my quotient. And then I have 4 pictures that will be left over on the last page. So that's choice C. This is Mr. Chuck's garden. How much fence does Mr. Chuck need to protect his garden from deer? It tells us that one side is 10 feet. This is the same type of square we had earlier when we were using area, but this time it asks about a fence. So a fence wouldn't cover the inside. The fence would go around the outside. So to find perimeter, we're going to say 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which would be 40. Number 12. Cassandra bought 71 bottles of water for her 6 friends who were running in a marathon race. If she divided the bottles equally among her friends, how many bottles would Cassandra have left for herself? So I know I'm going to divide because if I use my cube strategy and I circle my numbers, I underline my question, my clue word here says equally. And when I'm trying to find equal groups, I'm always going to divide. So 6 will go into 71. 6 will go into 7 one time, which is 6. If I bring down my other number, 6 will go into 11 one time, which has a remainder of 5. So it asks, how many bottles would Cassandra have left for herself? Each friend's going to get 11, and then our leftovers down here is what it's asking about. So she's going to have 5 bottles left for herself. Number 13. 7 students from each of the 14 fourth grade classes at Memorial Elementary School will compete in a school-wide spelling bee. How many students will compete all together? So if I use my cube strategy, here's 7. Oh, let me change that color. Here's 7. Here's 14. My question's how many students will compete all together. I know I'm going to take 7 from each class and multiply it by all 14 classes that they have. So I'm going to say 14 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. 98. Number 14, last one. There's 35 members in the Southeast Elementary School Science Club who are going on a field trip to Discovery Place on Saturday. If the cost for each student is $12 for admission, what is the total cost for the Science Club members to attend? So this one has 35 members, $12 for each member. I'm going to multiply those numbers. 5 times 2 is 10. Write down a 0, carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. When I move to the tens place, I add a 0. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Then I need to add these partial products. My total is 420.